Hello, and welcome to another thrilling episode of Prog Review. Today, a bit of a diversion. It's a documentary, and it's called Voice of the Eagle, the Enigma of Robbie Basho. Wow. There you go. Look at that. It's a film by Liam Barker. It's a documentary. And yeah, it's a documentary. Don't do many things like this, do we? On the old prog. Is Robbie Basho prog? I'd like to say he is, because he mixes and mangles genres. I've only just come across him. Again, suggestions. He was in on my YouTube suggestions, and I listened to this track. I don't actually own any of Robbie Basho's music because at the moment it's it's a bit expensive second hand, and there were a couple of repressings, but it was easier for me to get the documentary because it's from the UK than it was to get some of these repressings of his music. But yeah, Robbie Basho is again, how do you define him? Because he straddles genres. Started out in the 60s. I mean, his contemporaries are people like Leo Kottke and John Fay, people like that. I think some of his records were on Fay's record label. I should know that because I watched the documentary. So it kind of comes from the folk world, but there's more to it than that, because he studied Indian music. He got turned on to Indian music, so he started using lots of open tunings on his guitar. He used 12-string acoustic, and so he was inspired by Indian music, the raga, and so starts off like kind of folk, then kind of adopts more Indian music, and then reframes himself to native music of America. So then it turns into this kind of strange, almost country and western. I mean, there's like country and western elements because he's singing about country topics, the Great Plains and eagles and stuff. But also amongst this, he does classical kind of guitar music as well. An interesting career. And this documentary talks about his life. Again, he was adopted. He had also an adopted sister. His background was kind of mysterious. People, because he was a bit of an odd fellow, bit of an odd bod, but aren't we all? Who like to be on his own. I totally understand that. And fame or success or popularity eluded him. He played and he had these highly respected records. People were, and again, he has this amazing singing voice. I heard it on this track, Blue Crystal Fire, I think it was called. That was suggested to me. I instantly fell in love with it. It was like, oh my god! It made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, and I was like, oh wow. And I've not everything I found, because it's YouTube, I'm a bad boy, I've enjoyed, and I find him fascinating as a player and also as a singer, and he has this voice and this delivery. And alas he died too young, but we'll get to that. But if he was around today, I could imagine him. He may have worked with the likes of Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan and Michael Brook. I could imagine that happening because of his delivery and the way he sings. And again, I don't know if Jeff Buckley was inspired by him, because I hear him sing and I think of some of Jeff Buckley's delivery. And so I was completely knocked out by it. And so this documentary is fantastic. It's made by a fellow called Liam Barker. I think he's a fellow Brit, and I mean, this is somebody whose work has been lost. His music is out of print. There is a kind of almost a revival again, thanks to the likes of this. But again, it talks about not only was he doing all the music, he also had a spiritual side to him, and he was involved in the Meher Baba and his movement. And so you have this kind of Eastern mysticism. Pete Townsend turns up talking about him. And so he has this career, and every record just doesn't do anything, but it's amazing. Nothing happens, and then he dies, and he dies in the most awful way, because through his life he had again mysterious injuries. He doesn't say how. Did he fall out? Did he fall from a height after taking too many hallucinogenics, or was it a car crash? Again, mysterious fellow. The hallucinogenics didn't do him any good. It unlocked a part of his mind that he necessarily shouldn't have been opened, and one of his character traits was having arguments with demons live on stage whilst he was playing. Oh boy, but he had various issues. I think he had a neck issue, and he went to a chiropractor, and the chiropractor killed him. Did a manoeuvre on his neck, the old stretch and click, and it ruptured the artery in his neck, and massive stroke, died on the table. I think it was the age of 46. And oh boy, that's not good. And all of his stuff was then given, to the people who are part of the Meher Baba organisation. And it's only like now that those all the master tapes and that have kind of come to light again, and that's why there is this limited reissue campaign. But this is what happens if you die and you don't have a legacy, and you don't have things set up, is you get forgotten. And this fellow is forgotten, and it's a great shame, because there's some really interesting stuff going on there. And as a person, interesting person, trying to reinvent himself and trying to find a kind of mix of musical and spiritual, East and West. And that's why I say it's something to check out. So yeah, just search Robbie Basho on YouTube and you will find more. But if you want to find out about the man, this documentary, you can get it on digital download. I think it's probably the cheapest way. I think £3. I think you watch it. But I went for the full fat Blu-ray because I wanted to support the guy that made it, Liam Barker. I think if you go to RobbieBashoFilm.com, you can buy your own copy, get DVD or the Blu-ray or the download. But it's also available on Amazon and whatnot. Inspiring. That's what it says on the front, and it truly is. I just find him fascinating. Again, you get to an age where you think, I've heard it all. There won't be anyone else. I'm done with buying records. You get to that age, I don't want to buy anymore. And then I find this guy and I go, oh no, not again. And it's so expensive. But yeah, hopefully I'll manage to track down some of his cheaper material, and maybe we'll do some proper reviews of it. But this time I've only got the documentary, so sorry. But hopefully this is enough to inspire you to check him out and find a unique voice and talent, because he truly was. And it's a shame that some people just get lost by the wayside, and it's not enough to be good. In the old days, if you were good, they'd remember you when you were dead, and you might, like the Nick Drakes of this world, get a second flourish. But for Mr. Basho, it hasn't happened. Maybe we can make it happen. Maybe the internet can make it happen. He'll be as big a name as Nick Drake in the cult folk circles. But yeah, fascinating stuff again, and a real tortured genius. So there's a lot of stuff happening under the surface, but you got to watch the documentary to find out about it. So I've been talking about Voice of the Eagle, The Enigma of Robbie Basho by Liam Barker. Great documentary. Lots of extras. There's even downloads and stuff if you buy this of concerts and things. So yeah. Oh, and I'll give it 5. I give it 5 Blue Crystal Fires out of 5. It's superb. And that's it. Thanks for watching. My name's Darren Rock. There's only one more thing left to say, and that is prog on.